Welcome to Tiger Wolf. I'm Josh, and this is David.
Please be aware, this podcast contains strong language and spoilers.
So today we're talking about some of the first parts of the E3 showings. As of recording this, all of the showings, I think. We're not going to talk about everything from them, but just some of the quite a few on this list that we are interested in, or we think you might be interested in. To start off, I want to say that I should really trust myself, and a lot of the things I scratched off of my list for my predictions were things that happened. Obviously, I have no proof of this, so you can call me a big fat liar or whatever. I don't care. So let's start with EA. Not a lot going on there that I have much interest in. Basically, just the Jedi wannabe guy, because they basically confirmed he's not actually a Jedi.
Yeah, he's not.
He's used to be a Padawan. Jedis are no more.
Yeah.
Go fight things. It looks pretty legit though. Like
Yeah.
It looks like a.
Let's be fair, it's a better version of The Force Awakens.
I was gonna say it more politely. It was like a more grounded in Star Wars, believable power use than The Force Awakens.
Yeah, but I enjoyed The Force Awakens. So
Yeah, it wasn't. It wasn't bad. It was just the controls were floaty. I played it, the second one, relatively recently, because they re-released it or whatever for, I think it was Xbox I played on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of floaty. Like the targeting's hard.
yeah,
It doesn't. It felt like I was trying to fight as Anakin when he was just batshit crazy.
oh, basically.
Well, no, I mean he's not supposed to be batshit crazy. But anyway, it looks really fun, and I think my favorite comment from their thing was that the force flip power, which is basically double jump, because it makes sense for a Jedi to be able to do that.
Yeah,
I like that because a lot of
games.
platformers that have double jump, and there's no real grounding for why.
No, it's just it's one of those things that we just let slide as gamers. It's cool. Now I can reach that spot. I don't care why I can.
Even then,
now I can.
Wall jump is kind of unrealistic in a lot of senses. Like,
Yeah.
Fat plumber man wall
I knew
jumping.
You were gonna go straight for poor Mario every time.
Not
What
every
do you
time.
have against
I
him?
like Mario. I like the Mario games, but it doesn't really make sense that he can wall jump versus a character like Wolverine in the handheld game I played as Wolverine in. That makes sense because he uses his claws to dig into the wall and then jumps from that. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
I get that, like, it's a progression. Like, I'm sorry, Castlevania even. Like, it doesn't necessarily make sense for those very rigid characters to be able to do that.
Yeah.
The dash as a power thing, the double dash or whatever the fuck it is, like, that makes sense because it's just them going faster.
Yeah.
And it's also a power. Whereas the wall jump, anyway.
I'm genuinely surprised there wasn't a need for speed.
I am too.
Like I really, maybe I was just hoping we'd get a new Need for Speed.
I was surprised we didn't hear anything about Battlefront 2 because I believe that has a new DLC coming, or maybe has already dropped.
Maybe.
Then again, I only really watched a recap on this. I didn't get to watch the actual thing, so there may be more than what you actually saw, but I don't think so. I don't think they would have skipped anything on it because it was EA's recap.
Yeah, they did have stuff about Battlefield 5.
New
Chapter
map.
4 and...
So this is not to be like I knew it, but this and the Apex thing were things I said, and David talked me out of believing it.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really.
I don't think so.
Not
Battlefield
yet.
just came out, and I'm like, okay.
No, it wasn't Battlefield had just come out. They had just done. I thought Chapter 3 had come out more recently than what it had.
Well, even if it had, I mean, look at not to skip ahead too far here, but look at Rage. It literally just dropped, and they're announcing the DLC. Another thing I thought might have been coming too.
Yeah.
But the Apex new character, that one actually threw me through a loop because I thought it initially, and then I was like, oh, they just added a new character not that long ago. I don't think they'll be announcing one yet, but they totally did.
They totally did. So,
and that's our recap of EA. So let's go on to this morning or this afternoon, early this afternoon. Microsoft.
So there was a lot here that I found interesting.
They basically rushed us. This is how theirs usually is.
Yeah, they went through 60 games in an hour and a half.
Because they're covering more than just what they publish.
Yeah.
They're covering things that are being published to their system too.
Yeah.
Which honestly I think is a good way to do it because that means that I can catch, like, if I were like only interested in what's coming out on Xbox, then I can just catch this and see.
Yeah. They did confirm new
hardware coming out.
Hardware coming in 2020.
Year. The end of next year.
And they also confirmed with that Halo Infinite was a launch title for it. So
not surprising.
Yeah.
It's totally what we thought was going to happen. I was actually very taken aback that they did not announce anything dealing with VR.
Yeah, you were really invested in that.
Well, because that's what they were going for so hard with Scorpion. I mean,
Scorpio.
The Xbox Pro, Xbox One Pro,
X.
whatever it's called. Similar deal.
Yeah.
They were hard about that, and then they were like, oh, "We can't." Like, we tried it, and it's just not like very compatible.
Yeah. We were way off. I was way off on the Gears 5 release date.
Not way off. It's 1 month sooner than we thought.
But it's coming in September, so I got to go put money down on that.
Gears Pop.
Yeah, Gears Pop. It's a mobile game. I'm a little annoyed that we didn't hear anything about the Gears Tactics game that was supposed to be for PC.
They might be pushing back what they thought it was going to be.
Yeah, maybe. Game Pass.
Yeah, this one's a big one. I'm going to talk about this one a little bit.
Yeah,
I was excited about this. And I still am.
Already got it.
No, not yet.
Oh, you didn't buy it yet?
No.
I know you were looking.
I'm
earlier.
definitely going to be canceling my Hulu for something. I am actually very initially when I was first talking about it, there was the clear verbal hints that it's not going to be one price for both necessarily, like the same price for both.
Yeah,
and I was just like, oh fuck. Well, if they run it $20 for both, then there's no fucking point.
Yeah,
right. Then they announced it's $15 a month, and it includes Xbox Live Gold.
That's a pretty good deal.
That is. I believe Gold by itself is like $15, $20.
I think it's gone down to $9. I think it's $9.99 a month if you pay monthly, and then you have Game Pass, which is I have it just for the Xbox, which is $9.99.
Well,
a month.
I mean, for now.
Well, yeah.
Till you move your computer into your house.
Yeah, and then I might be switching over to.
Dude, I mean, I'm excited about it because I have my reservations, but I'm excited about it because things have been kind of tight for me, so I haven't been able to play a lot of newer games that I've been wanting to, and this gives me an opportunity to play them.
Youngblood. Now,
it just if it could just give me the time as well, that'd be the best.
Yeah.
My reservations are that, and I don't know exactly how this is handled, but my understanding is that some titles move off of it and other titles move on, because the 100 games thing, I remember being their launch for Game Pass was what they were saying, and it doesn't seem like that's changed. So, and I know there's new games on it.
Yeah.
So my concern is I like my game library to be available, period. Like, if I decide I want to play Ori and the Blind Forest today because that's what I'm in the mood for, it should be there.
Yeah.
I understand that Game Pass isn't the game library in the same sense.
Yeah.
It's more of a Netflix thing.
Yeah.
But that's where my concern lies, basically, is that I'm going to be like halfway through a game and then it's going to leave the service and now I can't finish this game.
I know.
And I'm not going to pay for it. I'm already paying $15 to play most of these games.
I know Mutant Year Zero is still on there, and
it's one thing I actually like about the EA access.
It went on in, I want to say November of last year.
But if I'm catching up on stuff, like older games and stuff like that, that I never got the chance to play or didn't want to spend the money to play it because it wasn't quite interesting enough.
Yeah.
Or something like that. And it could be something that gets knocked off.
Yeah. Well, like I said,
But that's one thing I did actually like about having, when I did a couple years ago, I had EA Access. It's whatever's on EA Access, you have.
Yeah.
And it only adds games. Like it only, because new titles weren't on it, which makes sense. Like, sure. But eventually they get added to it.
Yeah. I think that's the counterbalance for Xbox's Game Pass is a new first party game comes out, it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, that's hot news for me because I'm interested in.
You've got, Borderlands 3, you've got
State of Decay.
You have
Age of Empires. I don't know if that's going to be on.
It's going to be on the PC one, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I mean, still, because I'm going to cancel a subscription service I have.
You've already said it.
It's. I feel bad because it has some of my very favorite shows that I want to watch when I'm available. When they're available, basically, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Legion, Archer. There's a few other ones I can't think of off the top of my head. I really like those shows. Like Brooklyn Nine-Nine is literally a show that can, if I have literally sat and started watching it from the beginning because I was just feeling like shit that week, and it literally just cheers me up. Like it just makes me feel better about life because it's so wholesome and sweet and funny and stupid, but not like the bad way of stupid.
And Terry Crews is an amazing actor.
He is. Oh my God. He fucking makes that show in so many ways. But all the characters have their
something about them.
Have their part in making that show. And they do a very good job of keeping them very distinct. And they're constantly growing as characters in that distinct area without it being too cordoned off, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is not what this is about. Do you have anything you want to say about Game Pass? X Pass. That's what they should have called it. I guess there's reasons why they didn't. There's probably an XXX Pass out there somewhere.
Probably. Like I said, I have it for my system, and I use it occasionally.
You should cancel it and get it for $1 for this month.
The main game that I got it for was Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah.
Which is, phenomenal. I love that game.
It would still be a deal for you. I'm not trying to sell this to you, but it would technically still be a deal for you to have it for Xbox Gold and Game Pass for the Ultimate one, and then this also when you have it available to you could use the laptop too. Yeah. I don't know how much it can handle anymore.
Not very much, but yeah. There's a new horror game that
I'm actually excited to see this as a horror game.
I am going to make him play, and I am going to watch and enjoy myself. And that's Blair Witch.
Well, I don't know if they actually named it, but they showed the Blair Witch symbol at the end.
They named it.
Did they?
Yeah.
It looks really good.
Looks good.
It looks really good.
Surprisingly good. Like at first, I thought it was another Alan Wake game,
and then I thought it was another Outlast game.
Yeah.
Especially because he peeled up the camera.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's Outlast. But it doesn't have that green tinge Outlast is about.
Yeah. And then we saw the thing in the corner and we're like, oh.
It was it was another person in the corner. Yeah. And I immediately was like, it is Blair Witch. Because I had the thought in the back of my head and just, it is Blair Witch.
And then literally right after he said that, they pan out to the top of the forest and there's the doll symbol. And I'm like, it is.
I just watched the newest Blair Witch movie a couple months ago.
Yeah.
So it was semi-fresh in my head. And it was a pretty good movie. There was a part that made me physically uncomfortable to see. One of the characters, is something I would, if I was ever in a horror situation, it's something I just wouldn't be able to mentally get myself to do. I would probably just sit in a corner and die instead of doing it. It was crawling through a tight hole in the ground, like horizontally.
I don't know.
She gets stuck, and then it starts coming after her through the hole. And she has to crawl through it with it chasing behind her. No, thank you. I saw this movie, I want to say it was Black Sheep or something like that. It was about this crazy murderous sheep. Don't ask. I watch weird horror movies because there's not a lot of good ones.
You watch weird horror movies. I watch B-rated horror movies, and I get shit for it.
Who?
Cat.
Oh, well, she can suck it up and deal with it. Because this movie has a part where the characters have to go through a hole like that, squeeze through a hole like that to get out of this hole in the ground that the sheep backed them into.
Yeah.
And the whole time I was just like, I guess I would just die in there.
I guess I'm dead.
Like I would probably I'm
gonna try to kill the sheep.
dig up some dirt, cover the hole with it, hope it rains a lot. So I could just go up the top.
If the sheep comes, I'm gonna try to kill it. I'm not crawling through that hole.
No fucking thank you. Like, I never realized how much of claustrophobia I inherited from my mom until it was scenes like that in movies where I literally can't keep my eyes on the screen because I'm so uncomfortable.
Yeah. See, I can do like ventilation scenes in like action movies and things like that.
Well, because there's a sense of like, if you struggle enough,
is actually not that big in most cases.
Well. But also, it's one of those situations where, like, if you struggle enough, it's probably going to break and let you out.
Yeah.
The ground doesn't.
Ground wasn't. Yeah, it won't.
The ground, if it breaks, you're fucked.
Yeah. It's going to break onto you.
Yeah.
Not to
and then
free you.
And it's also the idea of, like, what if it gets too narrow? I recently saw a post on Reddit about a dog that got stuck in a tree. It was like chasing a squirrel or something like that. It was a mummified dog that these loggers found in this tree. I'd rather starve to death in an open area than starve to death in an enclosed area. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So this one hit me, and I thought it was interesting. And I'm going to say this because I also think that this would be a good rap name for Nerdcore, is MC Dungeons.
Minecraft Dungeons.
It looked interesting. It's got my interest, but also like I don't know. I would have been okay with like an official modification to Minecraft that did the same sort of thing.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'm
interested. Didn't it say local co-op?
Yeah,
that's a
big pull.
That's a big deal because I don't know. It's nicer to sit next to somebody and shove your elbow in their face so you can get ahead.
Yep.
I don't play sport games.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves 2077.
Yeah.
As always, ageless as fuck.
I'm telling you, he's a vampire.
No, he's starting to get gray. Unless it's completely fake, which if it is, they're doing a great job of making it look real. I don't even care if he is, dude. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah. He's that wholesome vampire. He only feeds on,
So he's like, Brad Pitt instead of Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
From Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Yeah. He only eats the bad people.
Well, don't say it like that, David.
But yeah, Cyberpunk.
I was impressed.
It keeps looking better and better, which worries me.
Yeah,
I'm not even gonna lie.
I keep it solidly in the field of skepticism. When I first saw the art for the main character guy, I was like, God, he looks so generic it hurts, and I don't like it.
In the actual,
honestly, having in a weird way, like I love Keanu Reeves. This is not a dig against him, but having him in it seems odd to me. Like
it's right up there with John Bernthal in Breakpoint, the new Tom Clancy game.
yes and no. Like, that's the kind of game series I would expect it from.
Or when Call of Duty had Mickey Rourke.
Or Kit Harington.
Yeah, and Kit Harington.
As the bad guy.
A really good bad guy. I was impressed.
I was absolutely stunned at how convincing he was as a bad guy. I was like, no. You're Kit Harington.
You're Jon Snow. You don't know how to do this.
You're the soft boy from Game of Thrones that just happens to survive everything.
You don't know.
I'm sorry. He was fucking Sasuke in Game of Thrones.
Ow.
It was all handed to him.
Oh, it hurts.
Don't get me wrong. I like him as a character. His story arc was great. And this happens to some people. Like, he didn't have a nice, easy life, sure. But
it all kind of
came out on top for him.
He was in the right place.
I haven't seen the newest episodes, so this is what I'm saying without that knowledge.
Moving on.
Yes. I already know too much about what happens. But Cyberpunk looked really good. I'm interested in playing it. I'm concerned that it might be a little bit too linear considering its source material.
Yeah.
But also, we might just be playing one person's story. Like, it probably has stuff in the future coming too. I'm sure they're already planning.
Yeah.
And I don't mean just DLC. I mean a Cyberpunk 2078.
Or whatever they decide to call that one.
That was the point. Yeah. I'm cautiously optimistic. It's one of my favorite statements, the phrases.
Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition.
So when I was in high school,
I love this game.
So when I was in high school, I lived 14 miles outside of town. And so I couldn't really hang out with a lot of people very often. I would come home, I would throw in my Marilyn Manson CD and listen to that while I played Age of Empires 2.
Yep.
And just usually dominated. But I didn't play on like a hard difficulty really.
This game was just fun.
Yeah. It's hard to express why, because honestly there's not much difference between the factions or anything.
There's like no difference between the factions except a few unique units.
Yeah, and usually they're made in whatever kind of castle they have. And,
yeah.
But I mean like everything, like the buildings, there's the Oriental style, there's the European style, there's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The newest ones, which you probably haven't played with because it got a DLC update like 5-10 years ago for the HD remake that they did. And so there was a lot, there's a list, I'm motioning over a foot long of different types, different factions. No, yeah, it's a huge list.
That's insane.
So I'm assuming
the definitive edition's gonna have the expansion.
And I also noticed that graphically, it looked like it was more 3D.
Yeah, maybe it was 2D. Just nostalgia, but I didn't see much of a difference. But everything usually looks better through the goggles of nostalgia, with the exception of Final Fantasy Tactics. That shit still holds up. Fuck off.
I mean, graphically. It could be better. But the story and the gameplay is there.
Yeah. Especially the story.
Yeah.
I'll probably...
And it's going to be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play it, and you're going to sit there and want to play it.
And growl angrily in the background. Yeah, I know. A new action RPG from Dragon Ball Z called Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. I know a certain someone who is going to buy this. No questions asked. And that certain someone is not me. So ha. I will just borrow his copy.
Give John my condolences. I mean,
it looks good.
If I can find a way without having to play it, because we didn't see any RPG elements.
Yeah,
we just saw the fighting, which obviously is the cornerstone to a DBZ game. Yes. The last time I played a DBZ RPG, I loved it. It was the Game Boy Advance one. I don't remember what it was called.
Yeah. Wasn't that the one that actually had the only time that he's ever been referenced in any of the games? The one-armed future Gohan?
I don't remember.
Best Gohan. Hands down.
Well, one of them at least.
Damn it.
David. Magic antlers.
It looks cool. What?
No, I'm not saying anything. I want to play that game. It's one of those like simplicity is beauty type of games from the looks of it.
So Way to the Woods.
There's no explanation. It doesn't. It looks like the kind of game that doesn't explain through words to you. It explains through
the
experience.
Environment and
I would say experience. Yeah. But it just looks. I don't know. It looks really good.
A thriller that I'm interested in because it looks like it's a time loop basically is 12 minutes. I think the reason I like time loop things now is because of a Netflix movie called ARQ.
Specifically, that one seems to be very closely of design thoughts.
Yeah.
Because it's the whole They're Coming thing, a guy and his girlfriend or wife. I assume girlfriend by their interaction.
Yeah. I got something for you today. You bought it today. You're pregnant. How you knew? We've had this conversation already. What?
Tell me about who killed your father or some shit like that.
Did you kill your father?
Did you kill your father? Whatever, fuck. Like it.
Yeah, it's that vein. Of,
yeah. And it shows like it playing out different ways. So I'm curious as to whether it's a game like a storytelling experience where you're experiencing this guy having to live through this over and over again, or is it your actions make this 12 minutes, I'm assuming, go differently.
I think it might be a little bit of both. Like the first time,
obviously it's going to be this guy
out a specific way.
Yeah.
Because, you probably aren't going to know what to do. And then you wake up.
Well, not wake up. Well,
you're kneeling on the floor.
I say it shows him kind of literally pop in.
And it starts over again. So now you're like, okay, this is going to happen. And then this is going to happen. Wait, if that happens, why is this happening
now? Yeah. Interestingly, aesthetically, it was a top-down 3D game. Very minimal like space. Like their living room was their dining room and their kitchen.
Yeah.
And
they were in
the main thing I noticed.
It looked like they were in a studio.
Well, no, their bedroom was specifically separate. But it was a small one-bedroom place, like smaller than my place.
Yeah.
But one thing that did catch my interest was that there was no indication of technology in there. No TV, no computer, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if it's specifically in a time period of like the 90s or something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know. I want to see how that one plays out.
Wow, you're just full of the puns tonight, aren't you?
It's not really fun.
One you're looking forward to, Heartlands for State of Decay.
Yes and no. I need to actually go somewhere in the storyline for State of Decay 2. I've done very little, and honestly, I never finished the story of State of Decay for that matter, because I like the aspect of going and searching and building up my base. And it always, one of the things that kind of bugs me about State of Decay is you can't make your base bigger. You have to deal with what you have. And it's like, well, yeah, but
why
the
not?
know-how for making like structural, especially lightweight, so to speak, structural things is not hard. I mean, I basically know some of that from working at Home Depot years ago.
Yeah.
Like, so to increase my yard space so that I can have more outside stuff and stuff like that, it shouldn't. But I mean, this is minor stuff. It's because it forces you to choose a base based on what you want to be able to do there. And obviously, the bigger base you have, the more often it's probably going to be attacked. Yada yada. So you need to have enough people to actually defend it and be able to go searching and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think that the way they do the fatigue in that, again, it's a little bit tedious, but it's in the vein of the type of game it is.
Yeah.
Inventory management, resource management.
It's in that same
It's survival. It's survival in the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it's the same train of thought, word.
I don't know.
It's very, very similar in the style, the storytelling or style of game as another game that we both really loved.
This War of Mine?
War of Mine.
Yeah, I love This War of Mine. that one is a little bit different because you had only that one base.
Place, yeah.
But yeah, very, very similar in a lot of ways, actually.
Yeah. One that I
wouldn't actually mind playing a State of Decay
style,
like
side scroller.
Yeah, this War of Mine gameplay for State of Decay.
That'd be interesting.
I think so. So this one you're super excited for. I am moderately excited for, just because I know it's an 80-hour game. Let's be real, 120 because we're both kind of completionists.
Yeah.
Tales of Arise. Also, can we talk about the English in that title?
Oh man. But yeah, a new Tales game. My hard drive for my PlayStation died. So I lost the 80 hours I'd put into Tales of Berseria.
Do you want me to see? I can. It's not a FAT32, so I don't know if I'll be able to pull any information off of it.
You
might be able to have it done professionally.
I have to reinstall it.
You might be able to have the save file as long as it's not corrupt and it works in any capacity. You could potentially get it done professionally. I'm not saying that'd be cheap.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
But it might be less than 80 hours.
Probably gonna have to reinstall it So I was at the end. I was procrastinating getting to the final boss because I was having
cloud
fun.
Saves? You don't have cloud saves?
I might. I don't know if I still have room in my cloud.
So I'm pretty sure I have cloud saves for at least some of my games on Xbox.
I might. I still got to reinstall it.
I'm trying to figure out cloud saves on Steam because I think it's a thing. But fuck if I could ever actually... I had to start over on BioShock again because I want to fucking finish that game.
But yeah. So I'm super psyched for...
Oh yeah, no, it looks like...
It looks like
Tales,
everything we need.
It looks like...
I mean, there's dragons, there's mechs, there's laser swords.
And guns, laser guns.
Yeah.
It looks like a regular Tales game, as regular as they are, on high-class drugs. Just all the characters are imagining, I can do this, and the game itself is what's on drugs.
So it's like...
So it happens.
I'll be honest. To me, initially when I was watching it, I was a little confused.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, wait, this looks like a Star Ocean.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was at first too.
And then it's not.
Oh, dang, that's one I didn't write down on here.
Phantasy Star?
Yeah.
It also looks really good. And it also has dragons, laser swords, and mechs, and
yeah.
Stuff.
My main concern about it is they're going with the online thing again. It's not a huge of an issue, but I kind of miss the old Phantasy Star games, even though I got into them way late, where it started off as like a fantasy game, a la Final Fantasy, etc.
Yeah, and then
about halfway through the game, it becomes a sci-fi game.
Yeah,
and it's because of like. Imagine being that person in that situation where your whole life is futile, you know?
Yeah.
And then you get to this point of this grand adventure you happen to be on, and all of a sudden you're literally on a spaceship going to another planet.
Yeah.
That is in your solar system that has also got life on it, where you're about to meet a higher technology life form.
Yeah. It's
Star Ocean Online is still like that in a sense. Like there's still swords and that kind of fighting. From some of the fantasy. What did I say? Star Ocean.
Star Ocean.
I'm at Phantasy Star.
At least he caught it.
So Phantasy Star is Final Fantasy plus Star Ocean equals this in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
One of the ones I've played for the PSP was you basically join a kind of space mercenaries. It's part of a guild, though.
Okay.
And you get hired to do missions, which can be like go clear out these ruins so that people can go check them out and stuff like that.
Okay.
But it's all like based on a spaceship. It's interesting. It's got like robot life forms. I don't know if they're life forms or if they're just AI. They're like your, in Monster Hunter you have a little cat dude or what have you that's with you. They're
Yeah,
kind
you
of
have
like
him in
that.
Final Fantasy 14 also.
They're kind of like that, but there's also playable versions too.
You have him in Final Fantasy 14 also.
Well, those are just pets.
No, he's in Final Fantasy 14. The cat sidekick.
Oh, right, because they had that crossover thing. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Also, by the way, I want to play Monster Hunter just for those cute little fuckers. But at the same time, I'd be putting him in danger every time I went on a mission.
Yeah, you would.
Makes me sad. Borderlands 3. Makes me not sad.
I really wanted to play the first Borderlands, and
we should try the second one
graphics
sometime.
Gave me a headache. I'm interested in the classes. One of the classes in particular.
It doesn't look like, because 2 was very similar to Borderlands 1's classes.
Yeah.
These look distinct. These look different.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm on board. I would love to try this game.
I still hope they have like a soldier type turret thing, because that thing was. If you play by yourself, or maybe with somebody who's not great or something like that, or even if you're just not great and you're the weak link, play as the soldier and you have another fucking gun there, basically.
Yeah.
You have a gun that eventually gets a shield and can heal you when you're close to it, depending on the upgrades you get.
Yeah. But yeah, Borderlands 3, it looks good. Yeah. So
now we're finally getting to the one we're probably going to talk the most about. Sorry, Mr. Editor, man.
So let's rapid fire a few of these. Blades, they're adding a few things.
They're adding the arena that has already been shown on the app since day one.
They're adding an ability to visit your friends' towns,
which is understandable and expected growth. I'm not sure if it was originally their plan, but it's like, duh.
Yeah.
Fallout 76 has a couple things that makes me excited, and one of them that makes me go, I knew it.
That's the Wastelanders.
Yes, it is, because as they said it, so the first year was you guys coming out and settling in the Waste, and the second year is the Wastelanders are coming back. What I heard was we fucked up about not having NPCs because they were so hardcore about it.
Yeah. We were wrong.
And we realized
this.
that it's missing a certain aspect of life without NPCs, and we're fixing that. Don't get me wrong. It's okay that they need to fix this, or that they felt they need to go this way. Like, sure, they had their vision, and it didn't quite pan out the way they wanted it to, and that's fine.
So they corrected course.
They've released updates to work on a lot of the balancing issues, and that, what I understand, enemies are a bit more of a bullet sponge, and that's for me. But not surprising.
Yeah.
What was moderately surprising, but makes sense given the format of the game.
Nuclear winter!
Okay, that was a bit much. Is a battle royale mode.
I couldn't help it.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them offer just the battle royale mode as a separate entity, but it is being included to anybody who owns 76. And they said it that way.
Yep.
Which makes me think, like Moon Crash, it's something that you can get if you already own it. I think it was Moon Crash. No, I had to buy Moon Crash.
Yeah, it was the game you
Typhon
don't
Hunter?
talk about.
I guess Typhon
Yes.
Hunter. Yes, the garbage one. Maybe it's not like that at all. But basically, I think that they're going to sell it as a separate thing for a lower price, or include it as part of 76, or at least anybody who currently owns it, as a thank you for sticking with us.
Yeah.
Thing. Because I know when it first released, there was a lot of refunds. I should say, there was a lot of people saying that they were going to get a refund. I don't know how true it is. I wonder where that's going to be. Anyway, you go ahead and you grab this one. I am just as excited as he is, but he's just more vocal about it.
Yeah. So, Ghostwire Tokyo. It's being made by the same company that did The Evil Within. Evil Within was an interesting game to watch. I still haven't finished Evil Within 2. I need to, now that I think about that. But it's basically a supernatural mystery from what they showed.
I don't know if mystery is the right word. It's an action game for sure.
Yeah.
It looks like it's possibly better action.
You're trying to figure out.
I don't think there
murdering
is. It looks like
entities.
Your character has an idea of what's going on.
Don't be afraid of the unknown. Attack it.
Unless he's not your character and he's just somebody who teaches you how to be what he is. Which would be cool.
Yeah, which would be cool. But yeah, of everything Bethesda showed off, this was the thing that made me actually sit up and pay extra attention.
So I admittedly forgot about Evil Within. When I was thinking about what could we get from Bethesda, I completely forgot about Evil Within.
Yeah.
As a thing. And this being announced, I was like, oh, that makes all the sense. It looks great. And the whole like what's going on is right up my alley for intriguing. And I want to know more. I love it.
Poof, everyone's clothes just fall. Is it the Rapture? What's going on?
First thought, Rapture. Second thought, Vanishing on 7th Street.
Yeah. I don't know which of those I would prefer.
As a game, I know which one I prefer. The one that doesn't necessarily involve planes crashing.
Fair point.
This is just going to be I'm mentioning it because I have ESO and I play it every once in a while. I'm not going to get these DLCs unless they end up included in some great deal or something like that.
Yeah.
Because I just don't, as I've expressed many times before, I'm not big on MMOs. So I only play it every once in a while because it starts to feel grindy and
Yeah.
But there's 2 DLC coming out that look like they're hot on the heels of Elsewhere and look like they're functioning within Elsewhere.
Yeah.
Or at least some of the content Elsewhere provides. The dragons. Scalebreaker and Dragon Keep or some such.
I think it was Dragon Keep or Dragon Hold.
Which seems like it was like a new faction for Dragon Keep and probably like quests related to that. I don't remember what Scalebreaker was.
But yeah, so.
Quentin Tarantino inspired a video game.
I'm pretty sure he's inspired several.
Well,
but
this one's the AAA title.
Yeah, so.
Technically.
So, like Josh said earlier, when we were bantering back and forth about, what we were predicting for E3, we both thought there was going to be a new IP. It was either going to be Arkane or id. We finally settled on saying it was probably going to be id who put out something new.
Which was a mistake.
Which, we were wrong. It was Arkane, but it was a new IP.
Yes, Deathloop. I don't know how I feel about it. It looks good. It feels like it's Moon Crash meets some story that they didn't really give us enough for.
Yeah, it
like Moon Crash meets
Moon Crash meets Dishonored.
Because there's definitely some kind of powers stuff going on there, at least a little bit.
Yeah,
but like I don't understand the point.
Of the story.
I don't. Yeah, that's Arkane.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that's an Arkane thing. Which, you established.
But I don't know what the point is. Like, why do these because every time they kill one of them kills the other, they reset. All they know is that they need to kill each other, but there's also other people there because he kills somebody else before she kills him.
Mm-hmm.
So what? I'm gonna need more details before I'm actually at all on board or not on board of this one. It's interesting. I like the aesthetic that they've been using.
I like the premise. I like the aesthetic, but I want more information.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Like you previously mentioned, Rage 2 has some DLC.
Here's one of the hot button things for me because I don't know if we mentioned this about Microsoft, but they talked about xCloud, their game streaming thing, and the fact that they are going to do what I said was probably going to be needed, and that's the console streaming for like in-home streaming, which is the right way to go.
Yeah.
Bethesda dropped a little bit of a bomb here.
Yep.
Orion is a game streaming platform that they've been working on so that you can play literally starting today, I think, which is a week ago, roughly on this listening. Doom anywhere.
Yeah. That was a little impressive. They displayed someone playing it on their phone on stage
at 60 frames.
Yeah, it was. The latency was negligible.
Yeah, it was impressive. It was more impressive that they just dropped this out of nowhere.
Like, hey,
nobody knew that they were working on something like this, or it wasn't out there that they were working on something like this.
Yeah,
and I honestly feel like this is something that they've been working on for a long time. I feel like there's probably a lot more research going on for technology in Bethesda than we can shake a stick at right now.
They hint, then they
they've been pushing
out.
VR for almost every large title that they've had, from Skyrim to Fallout 4 to Doom to Wolfenstein. So, and those aren't like things to scoff at. Those are big worlds. Those are fast-paced mechanics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those are impressive moves to VR. So I think that it's surprising and also kind of not. Speaking of, they did mention Doom and Wolfenstein.
Yeah. They talked about multiplayer for Doom Eternal, where
they showed gameplay for Doom Eternal, which I think is the bigger one there, where it's like parkour and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they also did the multiplayer thing with the 2 demons versus 1 Slayer.
And they showed the gameplay there too.
Which I feel like that is probably, if it's as good as it looked, it might be another thing that starts popping up in esports as, you know.
Oh, that's already a thing. I don't know if it's in esports, but Dead by Daylight is a similar thing. It's one person versus a group. There's also Evolve.
Yeah.
It's not a new concept, but given the fast-paced nature of Doom,
given the fast-paced nature of Doom and the fact of the amount of people who Doom is a recognizable name.
Yeah. Well, Dead by Daylight is pretty recognizable now. It's made a name for itself.
Yeah, it's made a name for itself. And, I knew about Evolved also, but it's just, people our age, you say Doom, they're like, what about it?
Which one? not the movie, right?
Are we gonna? Is this where I sing the Doom song?
Doom, 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 doom. And the Wolfenstein was basically just a reminder that this is coming.
Yeah, Youngbloods is coming, and a mention about the VR called Cyberpilot.
Right, which is, it looks interesting. It looks like you're a
French hacker who takes over German war machines and murders Germans with it.
Yes.
Excuse me, Nazis.
Yeah.
Let me make that.
I don't know how you messed that up. They mentioned murdering Nazis, I don't know, 6 or 7 times.
Yeah.
That's their big push for Wolfenstein stuff, and it's good. Like, the premise of what the Nazis were was not good.
Nazis are bad. Yes.
Anyway, that's it for this E3 mention. We'll have something out next week about the rest of it. We did skip over the Nintendo's announcements of the Pokemon game because we'll probably roll that into the rest of Nintendo's announcements happening this week.
Yep. Hopefully,
have happened this week, I guess. Now,
hopefully, I'll get a announcement on my Grandia release date for the remaster.
Cool.
Well, I suppose that's the end of the episode.
Please like, comment, follow, and share. And also, more importantly, thank you for listening.
Take care.
Bye.